Hi everyone, it's Catherine here from Minky Finger Cat. I am using up some old pan paper for this for these two cards. Sorry, I grabbed this very autumnal leafy paper from the stash of old Making Cards magazines kits. And what I did ages and ages ago, like probably 2 years ago, maybe even longer, I cut up all the pattern papers and pop them all in a pouch so that they're cut to sort of sizes that I might use on a card front. But actually I ended up sort of trimming it down even more and using different sort of different sizes. Now this particular one I went with an inked up border for the cardstock. I'm using some really naff card on these two cards. The white, I don't know why, but I just grabbed some really naff card. So it's quite textured and yeah, I don't even know where I've got it from. But yeah, so the first one I inked it up, and the second one it's a slightly different cardstock I'm using, and this one's not as bad. But yeah, I just did the plain border. So I didn't end up using huge amounts of the pattern paper, just those 3 pieces. I then decided I wanted to do some sewing. Don't know why, but that was what came over me. And so I used my piercing templates just to pierce some holes to do a little bit of sewing on each of them. So I do video all of this because I actually did it all sat at my desk, which is unusual. Normally when I'm doing sewing, I take it over to a chair and go and sit on the sofa or something and go and do it there. But for some reason, I just did it sat at my desk. So it is all on the camera, but I am going to speed it up even more so that you don't have to sit and watch me doing sewing for ages. I did keep the sewing quite simple though. I just did some kind of cross stitches on the one, this first one. And the second one, I just did some stitches as if they were sort of like stitching it as into place. I don't know, maybe it's not a blanket stitch, but yeah, I just kept it really simple anyway. But it just means there's that little added element of texture going on, and I just enjoyed doing it. So I grabbed the Scenic Pumpkin Patch stamp set again. I've used this not very often, but I've used it a couple of times. But I thought it was perfect for these autumnal feeling cards. So here in the UK, we don't have Thanksgiving. And we don't really tend to do a huge amount in terms of sending cards for Halloween or anything along those lines. I usually do make 1 or 2 Halloween cards, usually as part of design team stuff. And I send them to my cousin because she's a big Halloween fan. But I don't really have anybody else to send Halloween cards to. Oh, maybe my daughter now, maybe. But yeah, so these aren't Halloween cards specifically, but it's a nice to be able to send these sort of autumnal feeling cards out, just keeping them quite simple. Now, I don't often use ovals, but I decided to grab my oval dies for this. I just thought that image fitted an oval perfectly. And at first I wasn't feeling it. Then I added in a cream layer and I wasn't feeling that. And then when I added this pop of yellow, really like it. So it looks really bright on the camera, I know. On this image it looks very bright, but I just thought it looked good with that pop of yellow. The other one obviously has got the green in it, so, you know, a different colour that's popping through. Now, this one, I decided, actually, the whole point of these stamps is to create a little scene, and I haven't really tried doing a little scene with them, and I wasn't entirely sure what I was doing, but I knew that I would need to mask off those pumpkins that I wanted in the foreground before I put my fence in. And then I thought I was going to have to mask off my fence to put my trees in, and I don't do a very good job of this. I'm basically being a bit lazy, and I'm just cutting little strips of Post-it notes. But what happens is then it looks like the trees have been cut in half. It looks weird, so I do go back in again and stamp them again. Now these little trees have got their leaves as a separate thing from the trunks, so I added them in a couple of colours just to give them a bit of an autumnal feel, so they weren't just green. And to be honest, because I ended up die cutting this down quite small, it really doesn't matter that I didn't do a brilliant job on this scene. I think I just need a bit more practice with it. I'm sure it'll be fine. So yeah, so I had to go back in, restamp the fence, restamp the trees, and then I die cut it. Now first I die cut it at this size of the square, which is fine and would have been fine. But I wanted a border, but I didn't want it to be as big as the larger larger square die. So I cut my border one out the same size and then cut this one down. Now again, I'm just inking up the cardstock because it's a really weird colour and it's just a weird texture. And I did grab a slightly different colour green for this, but it doesn't matter, it's just slightly darker. Right, what else did I do? Well, obviously I had to add them to a card blank, and you can see there that the ATG is not sticking well, so I did end up using some glue. The first one was on an orange card blank, and this one was on a white one. And now I want my sentiments. So I decided on this Love and Hugs stamp that's in the beautiful flowers from Simon Says Stamp. I just love the font on this stamp set, on this particular sentiment. I just think it's really nice. It's modern, but it's quite elegant. It's not too bold, but it's not thin. You know when a stamp font just works. This is one of those, I think, that just works. Now, I did decide after I trimmed them down that they needed a border. So, first things first, so one of them I did onto brown, and the other one I was thinking, where's my orange cardstock? That's because I didn't have the orange cardstock as a little scrap. So I coloured a piece of white with a pro marker, turned it orange. Perfect, easy. The other one was on brown, and I just added them on and then decided I wanted some card candy just to finish them off. So even though they're quite a busy background, I just felt like it needed something. So for one of them, I did the dark brown spotty ones, and these ones I did the sort of like the more bronzy colour. Might even be coppery coloured ones, and decided that would do it. That would be the job. I did put inserts inside the cards. So this is for the orange one, I put an insert of white and then added a little strip of the pattern paper just to finish off the inside. And the white one, I just added the strip of pattern paper. Oh, and the camera went funny because I couldn't switch it off. So apologies about the wonky camera angle. But here you go, some close-ups of the cards as I had finished them. I'm really happy with them. They're fun, they're autumnal, they're sweet cards to send as a little note card to somebody. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please do like and subscribe to see more. Drop me a comment below. Do you send autumnal themed cards just because, or do you have specific reasons? I'm going to assume America, Thanksgiving, etc. So that's all from me. Until next time, bye bye.